How's it going? Today I'm gonna insert some language in a theme that I've chosen. I've chosen a samba of the composer Vinícius de Moraes. For who doesn't know, Vinícius de Moraes composed The Girl from Ipanema. He did the lyrics with Tom Jobim, and I'm gonna take the lead sheet, show to you, and try to find some opportunities and show my process. I sometimes play repeatedly a part to give the opportunity to my inner ear tells me what to do, and I'm gonna play the song, learning it, and trying to describe to you how I put the Brazilian language. I think I'm gonna try to do something with piano solo, with comping also. Alright, and let's see what is the result I could get doing this. Alright, I'm gonna give you the lead sheet. I'm gonna play reading, alright, to you know the theme, the melodies. First reading. I know the song. There are some harmonies that are different, that I know that are different of that's being played here. That sometimes I thought it sounded strange to me, and this is one thing that I consider important. Hearing the song and knowing some different versions of the song, because sometimes something can be written wrongly, or sometimes this happens a lot in Brazilian music. Sometimes the chords that are written doesn't have the necessary information, musical information written to they work in the song. Sometimes there is a counter melody that helps that chord, helps with the connection of the music with that chord, and sometimes you can the chords are right but they don't sound right. That's why I recommend you and I give tips of what you have to hear, because when you like the song and start playing it, if something is wrong or if something is important to play, you're gonna put in your way of playing. Alright, so let's return here. I'm gonna give you a second read, and for example, and I'm gonna tell you what I don't like this in here, in this lead sheet. second part. Some changes that I can't do in my first reading, because there are some anticipations for you that's a harmonic player. Sometimes can become the reading more difficult, because the chord is written in one place and you had to anticipate and you didn't see the melody before. For example, in the second ending, third system, last measure, look, we have in this measure we have three chords, and if you weren't reading the fourth system, you're gonna lose the C major that comes in the anticipated. Let me read again the second ending. Oh, you have a little time to do the sus. Can I play this? Note that I have a few time to do the sus going to the third of the chord. That we have also a strange chord changes in the first measure of the last system. We have, and I think for you jazz players this can sound typical. This progression is it's a samba, also a samba cliché. To read more to put the things together here, if you are piano players. The next thing I would do, now that I have read the theme, I resolved some problems, is to see that harmony that I didn't like. I knew this. For me, this D7 flat 9 is an F, and the melody sounds wrong to me. Then I changed that measure of D7 flat 9 in the second measure for sharp half diminished, B7, E minor 7, E minor 7, after that C sharp half diminished, B minor, B7, besides E minor 7 in the next measure, we have a very interesting chord that it's C7 with B flat on the bass. And I would like to, in the first ending, just the 7, and I does that A7 before also. It's out of the song for me. Just one more time, I'm gonna do something in the harmonic way. If you want to see about melody, just jump the recording, alright? B section, for me the harmony it's simple. And so it goes. This harmony is enough. One different thing I would like to say: C major 7, C sharp diminished, and you can go to G with D on bass to connect the bass between these chords, alright? And let's go to the melodical part. When I'm studying the melodic language, I like to play just the melody with one hand because I center all my mind, all my forces to think the interpretation of the melody. So just with the right hand I play sometimes repeated times, and I try to look for opportunities that my brain says to me what I have to do. What I'm trying to say. Sometimes if you hear some styles, you're gonna have access to some musical information that you can play together. This is a process of that I call arranging the melody. And why to arrange the melody if it's already written? And I see an opportunity in the melody to sound spontaneous, to sound creative when you're playing. All right, the Brazilian melodies sound a little free to the ears of people that doesn't know Brazilian music, and this freedom comes from the variation we create. So just trying to play the melodies. I won't try to force any variation. I'm gonna just read. If I had some idea, I can try to execute it, and if it's not possible to execute in the first time, I'm gonna correct. Right? No problem doing that. Now I'm seeing some opportunities. For example, besides, I'm gonna change some notes. Sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice, the end I correct. Let me put the comping. We can create some breaks. I'm capable of putting some variations. Any extraordinary ideas, simple ideas, but I'm doing the sound became more and more Brazilian, right? So just the melody. this note that it's very syncopated, because when you hear this the section, the B section, sometimes when I'm not beating the tempo on my feet, on my foot, it seems that I am playing just 8 notes, pa, 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 but they are all out of the tempo or out of the beat. 1, 2. Besides doing that, pa, 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 pa. It's all out of the beat. It's floating on the tempo. This is one of the secrets of Brazilian music. This talking about samba, the melody floats on the comping. But there is an interesting opportunity here, that is the repetition of the information. So you can do some improvise, do some changes. Let's try to find some variations. 1, 2, 1. I delayed the last note, ba, ba, to this. Ba, 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 you can change. The first phrase ended in E, and I'm doing the second phrase that is very similar to end in a higher note. For example, one more time, the B section. Like to take repeated notes and transforming more notes. This is interesting. For example, this idea, I took one part, a little part of the melody, one little motif, and I transformed the melody with this motif. This is interesting also. I had some problem because the chord is not written. I changed some harmonies and they aren't written for me here, and I didn't change because of you that are reading the original harmony that was written. And sometimes when you are creating new ideas with this having to change something together, you're gonna lose yourself. It's normal, it's common, alright? There is one interesting anticipation that I like to do, that I used here. I'm anticipating the melody 1/8 note before the measure it starts. So note again. couldn't execute because of fingering, and so it's interesting to return and try to execute. Let's change the melody of octave. That's an interesting resource to end idea. Let me repeat. This is an interesting idea to repeat more times and try to play it well. Alright? Note that when I do some repetitions, the language starts to enter on my mind, and I start to play with a lot of variations. But for you that are starting this process of studying the Brazilian music, and one thing I recommend is to you just memorize some variations that you think sound Brazilian, and memorize, focus on playing every time with that variation, and when you feel more comfortable you can change between the original melody and this variation. After you joined a lot of variations in your mind, some melodies you will give the opportunity of creating them during the playing you're doing. Alright? And so this is the way we make the theme sound interesting and alive. And this is the way that I work the melody. I'm using harmony, but I stopped sometimes just to see it, to play with the rhythm that was written, to recognize what's on the piece, and after that the putting language inside it. Alright, so I hope you have enjoyed this content. If you had any doubt, any difficulty, just write on the comments. I will have pleasure to answer you. And see you tomorrow with more lives and more quick tips about the Brazilian accent improvisation. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.